Good morning, friends, and welcome to the official second episode of my very first podcast. Thank you. Thank you. It's too much. It's too much. So, on the first episode, it was more of a get to know me, introduced myself, kind of talked about my journey leading up to my bariatric surgery and a little bit after my bariatric surgery, how me and my wife have both had the surgery. So, a whole get to know me, about a 45-minute episode. If you need to catch up on that, go back and watch this one. That one. What? Go back and watch that one before you watch this one. But if you're here with me this morning, good morning. It is probably Sunday morning by the time you are watching this. And grab your coffee and let's just have a great time and chit chat some more. So, again, if you're just joining, the first episode was a get to know me, mostly about my bariatric journey leading up to how my wife decided to have the surgery as well, and just kind of the success we've had with that, with a little bit of a sprinkle of the struggles we had as well too. So if you tuned into that episode and you're here again with me, thank you so much for joining, for being here with me, for subscribing. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. This has been a huge goal of mine for a long time, is to start a podcast, and I just decided to just fucking do it. I just decided to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that I'm talking and I'm sharing my story, and that's really all that matters. So that was episode 1. This episode 2 is going to kind of dive into life after surgery, kind of the expectation versus reality, if that makes sense. What the brochures said versus what I've experienced, and just kind of, we're going to talk about my experience, and this is going to be all about after surgery. So bear with me. Sit here and listen if you want to, and I hope you do, because it really is a good story. I have a good story to share, and I promise I'll make it fun for you guys. So, going into bariatric surgery, there was a lot of things that you're told is, this is going to happen, you need to be prepared for this, and a whole bunch of things. And it may or may not happen. Some of it happened to me, some of it did not happen to me. Everybody's journey is different, and I am telling you my journey. Does not mean that if you decide to go through with having a bariatric surgery, that you're going to have the same experience as me. You probably won't. Not one person has the exact same experience. So I want you to remember that as you listen to these stories. I think one of the biggest mistakes I made before I had made the final decision to have my surgery, was I Dr. Googled everything. I did a deep dive on the internet and I was reading people's experiences, and a lot of it was negative because a lot of people weren't sharing their positive experiences. It was mostly the negative, because it's easier to talk about the negative. It's easier to complain about the negative than to brag about the good, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I've had such a great experience, and it hasn't all been great, but overall, it's been the most amazing experience that I could have ever chosen for myself. So that's why I'm sharing that story, because I didn't see a lot of the positive researching this surgery. And I want people to know that it's not all bad. It's not all bad. And if you do it the right way, it's fantastic. So again, I was Dr. Googling everything, and I scared the shit out of myself. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to have all these side effects. What if I have gallbladder issues? What if I have to have another surgery afterwards? What if complications, blah, 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 blah. Everything. I was just giving myself so much unwarranted anxiety about it that I didn't go through with it for years. I was on the fence about it for years. And I talked about that in the first episode. So I decided to have the surgery. Let's fast forward now to post-op. Let's go to day 1 post-op. It's not fun. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not fun. No surgery is going to be fun the day after. Let's just let that sink in for a second. I don't care what kind of surgery you're having. You're not going to have a great time the day after. It's just not going to happen. So I stayed one night in the hospital. I had a drain tube in. Fuck that drain tube. And you're in pain. You're in pain. It hurts. My abdomen is sore. I had 6 or 7 incisions, because they do it laparoscopically. So they kind of just go in through these small incisions, and reroute your stomach and build you a new stomach the size of an egg. It hurts. It hurts afterwards. And you're sore, and it hurts to sit up straight, especially with that drain tube in. But the care that I had at the center that I went through was top-notch, phenomenal. They made me feel great. They made sure I was drinking my water as much as I could, made sure I had the medicines that I needed. They made sure I was as comfortable as I possibly could have been. And I'm so incredibly grateful for that. So it's the day after surgery. We're 24 hours now. And I get up. They make you get up to go to the bathroom because I don't have a catheter in. Which I was like, why don't I have a catheter in? Because like, what if I can't get up? Am I going to pee? Well, this is why they don't put a catheter in, because they're going to make the ass get up. And I'm glad they did. So I get up, I can go to the bathroom. And then they make you walk and walk and walk. And I'm glad they did. And as soon as they took that drain tube out, I think they took the drain tube out probably 4 hours before I left the hospital, I want to say. Such a world of difference. That drain tube was so uncomfortable. And I'm glad they took it out before I left, because if I would have had to come home with that thing and drain nope, deal breaker. Deal breaker. No. So once they took that drain tube out, I was good to go. I was just cruising down the finish line here. And the fun thing about the whole experience for me is I joined a local support group on Facebook of other patients that have had the surgery or that were going to have the surgery. And I found a surgery twin, which is just somebody who was having the surgery the same exact day in the same hospital as me. So we connected over that. We talked, we were each other's support system through the whole thing. And she was amazing. And we met each other at the hospital after our surgeries. She walked to my room and we went and walked around together. We kept in touch after for a while. She gave me a whole bunch of clothes because once the weight started dropping off, I needed clothes. And yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. But like I said, it's not fun the first few days. It's just not. So we get through all of that in the hospital, get through all of the walking around. They clear me to go home. I go home. And I took 2 weeks off of work, I think. Yeah, I took 2 full weeks off. I get home and I'm exhausted, and I'm sore, but I'm feeling okay. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever experienced, but it's not fun. So I come home. My wife has the whole area set up for me. I was planning on sleeping on a recliner because it was a lot easier to get up and down out of a recliner than to laying flat on bed. It was just a lot easier, and that's what they suggested. So I did that for probably a week. I think I slept on the recliner. Had a pillow on me at all times because I have cats, and the cat that I had at the time was a big boy. And he just, as soon as I got home, he just missed me, and he jumped right on my stomach, and I about lost my fucking mind. It hurt so bad, but I can't be mad at him. He missed his mom. So that sucked. But like I said, you can't expect it to be all roses and rainbows the second you get home from any type of surgery. And this was no exception. Absolutely no exception. Also, make sure you're staying caffeinated throughout this entire thing, because that's what I'm doing. I swear to God, if I ever get brand partnerships, sponsorships, it should be Nespresso and or Diet Coke, because it runs through my veins. I'm not even kidding. We got an espresso machine for Christmas and I've become absolutely obsessed. And now I think that I'm like a barista. I don't know. Okay. So what the brochures tell you is expect pain. Make sure you're walking around. You're going to have gas. And by God, you're going to have gas. I quite literally take gas pills every single day. Since my surgery, every single day I take them, because they're not kidding. They're not kidding. It was unreal the first couple of weeks after my surgery. And they tell you to walk around because it helps with that, especially with the anesthesia. So any surgery that you have, the anesthesia is going to build up in like your joints in your body, and it's going to cause gas throughout your entire body. And you got to get it out, because then it just makes you tense. So you got to walk around. You have to be moving. And I did not want to. I didn't want to, but I had to. So I forced myself to. I followed my brochures in my Bible to the T for quite a long time. And you should. You should follow that immediately after surgery because it is a step-by-step guide on what your body can handle from day one after surgery to I want to say it goes like 6 months to a year. It just gives you a guideline of when to start introducing different types of food. So that's what I did. I followed my Bible and I stuck to my liquid diet as long as it said to. I, for the life of me, can't remember how long because it's been 3 years since my surgery. But I stuck to the liquid diet. And then when I was allowed to introduce soft foods, so like cottage cheese, refried beans, pureed, anything, honestly. And it all had to be sugar free. I had no sugar at this time, no carbs at this time. Um, I followed that. So I was eating a lot of refried beans, you guys, which didn't help with the gas factor. Good God, it did not help with the gas factor. My poor wife. My poor wife. Anywho, so I did the refried beans. I did a lot of cottage cheese. I did a lot of that. And I was sticking to fat-free everything for the most part. And I could have I was melting fat-free cheese on my refried beans. Like I was doing what I was supposed to do. And it was great. As far as side effects go, I just had the normal ones. Like I was sore. I was tired. I had some stomach pains. I had the gas. I had some cramping. Like I had the normal things that you should expect after that type of a surgery. Nothing out of the normal for me. And like I said, this is my experience. Not everybody's going to have the same experience. But when I was doing the research on this before I decided to have surgery years before, all I was seeing was, it's the worst decision I ever made, blah, blah, blah. Well, come to find out, it's because these people didn't do what they're supposed to do. Most of them, not every single person. Some people are just unlucky and they had terrible complications, and I feel awful for them. And I'm so fortunate and I'm happy and I'm lucky that none of that happened to me. But a good majority of them, turns out that they were just not doing what they were supposed to do after surgery. They were not following the guidelines on what to eat. They were eating what they wanted. Well, of course it's not going to work. Of course you're going to feel like crap. You have to relearn how to eat. You have to teach your body how to eat again. You have to learn what your body can handle. It's literally like an infant learning how to eat again. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like you're an infant eating for the first time. You introduce new foods per the guidelines that your bariatric center gives you. That I cannot stress enough. Follow those guidelines after surgery. Like right after surgery. Just don't wing it. Don't do whatever you want. Don't think you know best because you don't. Now, one thing that I did not expect, which I probably should have, but it wasn't something that was like overly explained and in my face with all the information that I had, was the mental aspect of this. How it was going to affect me mentally. When you start rapidly losing weight, your hormone, what? Why can't I speak? Your hormones are fucked up. Up and down, up and down. It's like somebody going through menopause times fucking 20. I'm not kidding. I was a hot mess. Your hormones are going to be absolutely insane. You're going to feel clinically insane. Clinically insane. And I'm telling you, it's normal. It is normal. You got to write it out. You've got to let them regulate, because like I said, when you're rapidly losing weight, it affects so much of your body mentally, and you've got to let it regulate. So give yourself grace. Remind the people in your lives to give you some grace. Do not let them take it personally. You're going to snap at people. You're going to cry all the time. You're going to cry. You're going to cry. I don't know how else to explain it. I cried so much for no reason. I was crying over everything. I was crying because my cat wouldn't come lay with me. What else did I cry about? I cried about a lot. Like, I mean, the most minor inconvenient things I was crying over. Like, the remote ran out of batteries and I didn't want to get up. It was awful. It was my poor wife, poor everybody in my life had to deal with that. I was a hot mess for a long time, but it's to be expected. And that's something that I did not expect. And I started asking questions in this bariatric group that I'm in. And I think that's really important too. I think if you're going to go through with a surgery like this or a lifestyle change like this, find a support group online or in person, whatever works easier for you. For me, online was easier. It's a Facebook group. And the people in it have all been through this or they're going to go through it. And they're all so supportive for the most part. There's some people in there that suck, but whatever. So I was asking questions. I'm like, oh my God, is this normal? And I was asking a lot. I felt like I was being annoying, but everybody was there to answer my questions. And I had people private messaging me and they were just there for me and made me feel validated and like I was on the right path and that everything that I was experiencing was normal. So me acting like a fucking psychopath was normal. And that made me feel a little bit better. Another thing that I was told was most likely going to be a side effect was hair loss. And I touched on that a little bit in the first episode. We're going to touch on that again. You're going to experience hair loss. You're going to. Now, I can't speak on what level of hair loss you're going to experience because it's different for everybody. But just know at some point throughout this process, you're going to experience hair loss. It's going to happen. For me, it was an excessive amount. My hair started falling out in clumps. I had bald spots and it became one of my biggest insecurities. And I did not expect, that was something I did not expect. I expected to have some hair loss. Everybody told me I would. The packets, the brochures, it all mentioned it. I did not understand how much that was going to affect me. And like I said, everybody's different. If your hair is not the most important thing to you, then maybe it's not going to bother you. But my hair was never the most important thing to me because I never had to worry about it. So I didn't really think about it until it started falling out. I cried a lot about it. I tried everything. I stopped dyeing it. I bought hair products. I started taking more biotin. I bought shampoos and conditioners that had hair growth serums in them. I tried hair growth serum. I tried everything and it helped a little bit, but it was not stopping it. So prepare yourself for that. Mentally prepare yourself for some hair loss and preemptively come up with some solutions to make yourself feel better about that. I turned to wigs. I started wearing wigs. I even cut all my hair off. Like I chopped my hair off to like almost like a pixie cut. And it was still not doing it was so thin, you guys. It is so thin. So then I shaved my head. I had my wife shave my head in October last year. I went Cynthia Erivo, 11 Stranger Things style on all your asses. And it's growing back pretty well, but it's growing back really uneven. I look like a fucking chia pet under here because when my wife did shave my head, she shaved it real uneven. So I'm about to go back and have it like, I'm going to have somebody shave it like at Sports Clips, or I'm just going to go to a men's like Sports Clips or something and have them shave my head and get the whole experience. Because why the fuck not? So I turned to wigs. I started wearing wigs in June of last year. End of May, beginning of June, I want to say, is when I started wearing wigs. And that was a journey. The first couple of wigs I got were not great. So I turned to another community. I turned to people on the internet, on TikTok, and started asking people's opinions and budget-friendly wigs because I was not about to spend money on a real human hair wig because those are thousands of dollars. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I turned to budget-friendly wigs. And I finally found a company that I really, really like. And I found them on TikTok. JB Extensions is the company that I use. And you can go to my TikTok page and I have everything linked in my showcase that I have gotten from them. This is one of them. They're synthetic wigs. Some of them are better quality than the others. I have some lace front ones. I have ones that are just a hard front. I wear a wig cap underneath. Like I've got it down now, but that was also something I had to learn was how to wear wigs. And I can do a whole episode on wigs actually. That's a good idea. I'm going to do a whole nother episode on wigs at some point. So we'll pause that conversation. But I turned to wigs because of losing hair. So I want y'all to prepare yourself for some hair loss because it's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. You are rapidly losing weight. Your body is rapidly changing, and so are your hormones, and that includes your hair. Just prepare yourself for it because it's going to happen. So one thing that they suggest, which is the most important thing, I think, of advice that I ever got was to, when you start introducing new foods, do it in the comfort of your own home. Do not try something new out in public. Just unless you have a bathroom next to you within running distance, because within seconds, you are going to know if this new food agrees with your new stomach or not. You're going to know. And I am telling you this from experience. It's called dumping syndrome, is what it's called. And everybody experiences dumping syndrome in different ways. But in the beginning, if you're eating something that your new stomach is like, nope, we can't do that anymore, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. It's going to you might as well just, honestly, just eat new foods on the toilet if you're at home, because there you go. Just eat it on the toilet because it's going to immediately come out of you. And I'm not trying to be gross. I'm not trying to gross anybody out. That's just reality. That's reality. I found out the hard way on some things, and I wouldn't even say it's the hard way. I did what I was supposed to do. I tried it in the comfort of my own home because you're not going to know unless you try it. The first thing that I figured out that I just cannot eat anymore is dark meat chicken. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm not that upset about it. It wasn't really that important to me, but it's just too fatty. It's just too fatty for me, for my stomach to handle. And I thought maybe as time went on after my surgery, maybe like a year after, I could try it again. And I did try it again. Still can't do it. So that is just a food that I know I cannot have at all. The same goes for like ground pork. I don't really like pork chops, so I haven't tried those, but like pulled pork I can't eat either, and that is actually upsetting because I do love me a good pulled pork sandwich. But it's okay. It's okay. There's just things that I cannot handle anymore, and it's worth the success that I've had with this surgery. That makes it worth it for me. What are some other things I can't eat? Green vegetables. Other than like I can have romaine. I can have like butter lettuce. I can't have spinach. I can't have broccoli. I can't eat green beans. I can eat peas. I can't eat Brussels sprouts, and I can't eat asparagus. And I've always loved all of those. I've always liked all of that before surgery, and I can't have them anymore. It builds up too much gas in my stomach, and it makes me incredibly bloated, and it's just uncomfortable. It's not something I'm willing to put myself through just to have it. I'm not willing to do that. So that's something I figured out by trial and error that I can't have anymore. There are some things that I tried like for the first time after surgery that didn't do well with me, but then I did try again later and it's fine. One of those was, hold on, let me think for a second. Tortillas. When I was allowed to start introducing carbs, again, I tried like the carb balance tortillas. Nope. It didn't do, maybe I tried it too early. I don't know, but it didn't do well for me. So I stayed away from it for a long time. And then as time went on and I started losing some more weight and I started getting used to what I can eat and what I can't eat, I tried tortillas again. And they did fine. They did fine. And I don't have to eat the carb balance ones anymore. I prefer to because I'm trying to be healthier, obviously. But sometimes I just eat a regular tortilla or I eat half of a regular tortilla and it's fine. It's fine. You can have the real thing, just have less of it. And sometimes that's worth it for me. Like a lot of people are like, oh my God, you have to eat fat-free things now. You can't have, no, you don't. Should you? Probably. But I don't like the taste of it. And it also upsets my stomach, that fat-free cheese. If I have to rinse my cheese before I eat it, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not doing it because that awful film that's on it, you have to rinse off so your cheese will melt. Why would I do that? That's disgusting. That's so overly processed. Like I don't want it. So I eat real cheese. I eat full fat cheese. I just eat less of it. I don't put cheese on everything anymore. I don't put a fucking Mount Vesuvius pile of cheese on my food anymore. I just eat less real cheese. And I do fine. My stomach is fine with that. It's totally fine. And the same with low carb things. I stick to low carb for the most part. Carb healthy, carb balance, whatever it is, because that's the thing. But as long as I'm getting high protein, that's the key, is high protein, lower carbs, and low sugar, and lower. I have to stay in my macros. And every bariatric surgeon and center is going to give you different guidelines for that. So I'm not going to tell you what you should do for your macros. Everybody's going to be different. For me, I know that I need to have about 80 grams of protein a day to feel good. So I stick to that. I know what I can and cannot have. I know how much of something I need to have to meet my goals because I'm 3 years out. So I've been doing this for a while. But follow your guidelines from your surgery center as long as you can until you figure out your own flow. It's kind of like starting a new job, you know? You follow the rules to the T until you kind of get your own flow. As long as you're getting the same results and you're still productive, it doesn't matter. If you're getting the same results and you're doing it a different way, that's okay. That's okay. Everybody's journey is different. Now, there were some things that I was really worried about. I'm like, oh my God, am I ever going to be able to eat pizza again? And should I have been worried about that? No, but I was, because I'm a former fatty and I like pizza. I'm never going to not like pizza. I waited a long time and I tried like the cauliflower crust, and it's okay. I don't mind a cauliflower crust. I don't mind a gluten-free crust. But again, I'd rather just have a regular ass thin crust pizza and eat less of it. And have like a salad with it instead of eating 2 slices of carb healthy pizza. I can have a slice of pizza and a little bit of salad, and I'm good. So yes, I eat regular pizza. We like to make our own. So I just get the little mini pizza, pre-made pizza crust at the store, get some, and we make our own at home a lot. And with turkey pepperoni and mozzarella cheese and whatever we want. I made a chicken parm pizza before and it's fucking fire. And if y'all want recipes on things too, let me know. Like, leave me comments and let me know if you want recipes and like ideas. And I can drop a whole thing. I can make a blog of recipes if y'all want it, because I got them. You just gotta let me know if you're interested in it, and I will provide that for anybody who wants it, because I feel like that would be pretty helpful. I kind of wish I had that too. I wish I had more recipes for people who are going through their journey like I have been, who didn't, or like, I'm not going to eat fat-free cheese because it's disgusting and I don't like it. I'm just going to eat the real thing, but less of it. I have found so many good recipes with real ingredients that aren't fat-free cheese, that aren't, I have found a lot of good things. I've become obsessed with sweet potatoes. I've always liked sweet potatoes. I never experienced like different ways of cooking them. And now I'm finding different ways to cook sweet potatoes and to cook chicken and to cook the things that I've always loved. I'm just cooking them in different ways that are better for me. That's the key. You can have everything you've always loved. You got to tweak it a little bit to make it better for you. Now, every once in a while, I'm craving a Domino's pizza, and I will order myself a Domino's pizza. But instead of eating a pizza in one sitting, that pizza lasts me 3 meals. At At minimum, 3 meals. Even if me and my wife are sharing it, 3 meals. That's the difference. That's the difference is I'm not binge eating anymore because I cannot binge eat anymore. And that is why I had the surgery, because I had to stop binge eating. And I was to a point where I couldn't do it on my own. I needed this tool to help me stop binge eating. But I had to put in a lot of work. I put in work every single day. I had to do the mental work. I have to do the physical work. So I need to stay active, and I have been slacking on that lately. But I've been going to dance classes and things, and I've been trying to get better about working out. I'm going to start doing at-home workouts. And now that it's getting nicer out again, I'm going to start going back out to the park and walking after work. And I got myself in the winter blues. I'm not going to lie. I have not been a great example on that, but I'm going to get better, and I am going to have you guys hold me accountable on that. And I'm going to make sure that I keep doing that. But staying active is key. Eating healthy is key, but don't stress out about fat-free everything, carb-free everything. I'm going to keep talking about it because I feel like it's important. That's what deters a lot of people from doing this. And having this surgery is not for everybody. And I touched on this in episode 1. Bariatric surgery is not for people who need to drop 25 pounds. That's not what this is for. This is for people who need to drop an excessive amount of weight. I'm talking 50 plus pounds, 100 plus pounds. That's who this is for. That's my target audience here. Now, if you don't need bariatric surgery and you're here on this journey with me, I thank you. And I hope you can get some tips and things from what I'm doing currently now, because the diet that I have now, the routine I have now is good for anybody. But the things that I was doing before, like immediately after surgery, a person who didn't have that surgery couldn't. I mean, I was eating like this much food a day. My stomach was the size of a large egg. People who haven't had the surgery cannot follow those guidelines because you will definitely bottom out. You will bottom out. So the early stage of this is not for people who haven't had surgery. But for what I'm doing now, by all means, take my advice if you feel like it's going to help. Reach out if you need some advice on recipes and things like that. You'll just have to tweak your amount and calories and everything, because I cannot eat as much as other people who haven't had the surgery. And that's okay, because I don't want to. Sometimes I do. Oh God, sometimes I do. Sometimes I get in my feels and I'm like, I just want to shove some chicken tenders in my face. That feeling is going to come up sometimes. You're never fully going to get rid of food noise 100%. But I have gotten rid of it enough to where it doesn't affect my life anymore. To where I'm not sitting here depressed. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of anything anymore. And in the beginning, I did. I had my moments in the first couple of months where I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Why did I do this? That's normal. That's incredibly normal. I had a lot of moments of stalling as far as my weight loss. Let's touch on that for a second. Having stalls in your weight loss after bariatric surgery is normal. I'm going to say it again. Having stalls in your weight loss after surgery is very normal. And they told me that. And even when it happened, I thought I did something wrong. I hadn't lost any weight, and it was like, 10 days. But when you're so used to seeing the scale drop 1 to 2 pounds every single day, and then you go 10 days at nothing, sometimes people go a couple of months with nothing. You can have big stalls and little stalls. But I had a few of them, and it completely derailed. I let it derail me. Don't do that. Don't do that. I should have put the scale away for an amount of time. Once the weight started dropping off and my clothes started fitting differently, I should have put the scale away for a little bit and just paid attention to how my body was feeling and how my clothes were fitting and all of that, because I was so fixated on the number on the scale, and I shouldn't have been. I let that derail me for a little bit. And I was reaching out to everybody in my bariatric group. I was crying to my wife. I was crying to my friends, my family, and everybody told me the same thing. Like, it's incredibly normal. It will start coming off again. You've got to give yourself some grace and some patience. And they were absolutely correct. That is something that I cannot stress enough to anybody going through this. Do not let a stall derail you mentally. Just don't let it happen, because you're going to have them. And everybody is different in the period of time it happens and for how long it happens. And if it doesn't start falling off again, if the weight doesn't start falling off again, then you talk to your doctor. Some bariatric patients need to go on a GLP-1 a year or so after surgery because they run into a stall. It happens. I did not have to do that, thankfully, but I know people who did, and there's not a damn thing wrong with that. There's not anything wrong with that. You just have to listen to your body, and you have to not let those little hiccups that are normal derail you mentally and make you think that you're doing something wrong and make you think that this wasn't worth it. And, oh my gosh, I'm not going to lose any more weight. This is the end. No. You keep doing what you're supposed to do, and it's going to happen. Your body is going to decide how long that process is going to take. A perfect example is my wife. My wife had a lot less weight to lose than I did. I had about 100 pounds on her. So when I started this whole journey after surgery, I was rapidly losing weight. I mean, rapidly. I think within the first, so from May, June, July, August, September, October. So I think in 6 months, I had lost 100 pounds, damn near 100 pounds. That's a lot of weight in 6 months. And my wife, when she had her surgery on March 14th, 24, so about a year after mine, she was rapidly losing weight for her body. It was rapid, but it wasn't as rapid as me because she didn't have as much weight to lose as I did. And she was comparing herself to my journey. And I kept telling her, I said, you cannot do that. She's like, well, you had lost this much at this point, and I've only lost this much. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You cannot compare your surgery to my surgery. I had so much more weight to lose than you. I had to keep telling her that. I had so much more weight to lose than she did. So my body lost it quicker. So she thought she was doing something wrong, that she wasn't having as much success as she should have been because she wasn't dropping weight as quickly as I had. And that is so not true. So not true. My journey is going to be, it's going to be different than a lot of people's because I had a lot of weight to lose. I weighed 436 pounds when I had surgery. My day of surgery, my surgery day weight was 436 pounds. I now weigh 162, 160, depends on the day. I fluctuate about 5 pounds, but around 162. I've lost 275 pounds, you guys. That's 2 humans. That's 2 humans worth of weight that fell off in 2 years or 1 year? No, 2 years. A little under 2 years. I think by the 1 year mark, I had lost 200 pounds. And then it took a while. I think it took about another year for me to lose the last 75 because it slowed down because my body was regulating. My body was getting back to a healthy, normal weight again. So it didn't feel the need to lose weight that fast. My wife started 100 pounds less than me. She started her journey 100 pounds less than me. So she was not losing as much as me because she didn't need to. And I want you all to remember that when you do your journey and you're going through your journey. If you if you have as much weight to lose as I did, you'll have a very similar experience, I think. But if you're more like my wife and a lot of other people who have the surgery, it's going to be a different timeline for you, if that makes sense. Don't let somebody else's experience negate yours. Just do not let that happen. Pay attention to you and your body and do what you have to do for yourself. Do not compare yourself to anybody else when you're going through this journey. That's incredibly important. Do not compare your journey to somebody else's, because not one person will have the same experience as anybody else. Not one. I think I've rambled on long enough about the food journey and what to expect after surgery. You get the gist of it. And if you have questions, reach out. You leave a comment. You can go to my DMs on my socials. It's all there. I have a link tree, like with all my socials information. You can reach out to me. I'm here to help. But that's what kind of to expect after surgery. Now, let's go to where I'm at today after surgery. So now I'm at my goal weight. I'm maintaining. I know what I can and cannot eat. Let's talk about where to go from there. Therapy. Get in therapy before you have surgery, and then stay in therapy after you have surgery. Stay in therapy. I don't care if you think you need it or not, because you do. I think everybody should go to therapy. Whether you have bariatric surgery or not, everybody should go to therapy. We've all been through some shit. We all know somebody who's been through some shit. It's good to talk to somebody who has no personal opinion at all. You want to talk to an outside source, go to therapy, people. And I know it's not feasible for everybody. It's not. It's expensive. So I get that. I'm not judging anybody who doesn't go to therapy because they can't afford it. But if you're just like, therapy's not for me, you're wrong. You're wrong. Therapy's for everybody. And there's no shame in anybody going to therapy. I'm very open about going to therapy. I'm fortunate in my job to where my therapy does not cost me anything. And I understand that that's not the case for a lot of people. So I get it. I get how some people cannot afford therapy, and I sympathize with you on that, because I used to be in that situation. But if you have the means to, go to therapy and stay in it. Whether it's once a month, once a week, once however long, whatever it is you think you need to do, or whatever timeline you and your therapist come up with. Go to therapy. It helps with the food noise, and it helps just to get some things off your chest. And I learned a lot going to therapy. You want to know what my therapist told me the last time I went to therapy? My therapist told me that I am one of the most mentally healthy individuals he knows currently, and that me and my wife have one of the most healthiest relationships he's ever seen. If you knew me 3 years ago, if you knew me 2 years ago, even 1 year, nobody would have said that. I would have looked at you and I would have been like, are you out of your fucking mind? Who are you referring to? Because it ain't me. I looked at him and I said, are you confusing me with somebody else? And he just starts laughing. He goes, I'm dead ass serious. He's also been one who's encouraged me to do this podcast. Like, he's been telling me for a long time, when are you starting your podcast? And I was like, I'll get to it. And he's like, Melanie, when are you starting your podcast? And he was like, I kind of felt like a parent was like gonna like ground me if I didn't do it. So I love my therapist. Like, quite literally one of the best humans I've ever met in my life. And my wife sees the same therapist. And before y'all come at me for that, I've talked about this before on my TikTok. Yes, we see the same therapist separately. Yes, I understand that that's not normal and it's not for everybody, but it works for us. It works very, very well for us. And that's all that matters. He will not see us together. If we ever thought we needed couples counseling together, which we probably should have, but we're good now, he will not do that. We would have to seek outside source for that. He has made that perfectly clear, and I think that's smart. So yes, we see the same therapist separately, and it works for us. That's all that matters. Anyhow, one of the best humans I've ever met. I love my therapist. My wife goes more often than I do now, but I go as needed now. And I'm actually like really happy about that. I kind of miss it though. Like I miss going more regularly just because I like talking to him. So maybe I'll just make an appointment soon just to catch up with him and be like, "Hey, miss your face. Let's talk." Which is fine. Like and maybe there's some things I do need to catch up on. But anywho, go to therapy. Find yourself a therapist. Shop around until you find one that's comfortable. And go to therapy. Whether you think you need it or not, you need it. You need it. We've all been through some shit. And I like I said, my therapist told me I'm one of the most mentally healthy people he's ever met. Now, I wasn't, but now I am, which gave me such a sense of proud and pride. And I had honestly, that conversation with him is what pushed me to start this. I was like, I can conquer anything. I can do anything. If I'm mentally well and my therapist says I'm mentally well, by God, I can do anything. So that's how I can thank him for this. I'm going to thank him for starting this podcast because he got me here. He got me here. I'm going to get emotional in a good way. I'm very proud of how far I've come. Very, very proud. And I'm proud of my wife. And if you knew me before surgery and you knew my wife, you wouldn't think I'd be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be here today. I would not be on this earth. I wouldn't be. I was not okay. I was not well. My marriage was not well. We were on the edge of a divorce. Like we were about to separate. And I don't know what I would have done if that happened. I don't know. I don't want to think about what I would have done if that happened. But I think back about how far I've come and how far she's come and how far our relationship has come. And I just get emotional every single time because I am so fucking proud of both of us. And that makes everything I've gone through with this process, this journey, all the negative that I've gone through, that makes it worth it. That makes it 100% worth it to be proud of myself and have other people feel proud of me. I've never felt proud of myself. I've never been proud of myself as much as I lied to myself and said I was never proud of myself. And now I actually believe it when I say it. I believe it because it's true. I am a different person. I am a completely different person for the better. I like to get up and do things. I like to be active now. I'm doing this. I'm speaking on my life experience without feeling any shame. I'm putting myself out there. I've discovered a love for reading. I hadn't picked up a book since I was on my own free will, since I was probably in middle school. And I picked up a book for the first time last January. I had no books to my name. I owned none. And I started building my collection. I fell in love with reading fantasy romance books. I started with Fourth Wing, and then I jumped into ACOTAR and the Sarah J. Maas world, and holy shit, it just, woo! It enveloped my entire life. And now that's something it's like part of my identity now. I'm a reader. I started collecting records. I started listening to different types of music. I started experimenting with my style. That's something I didn't expect either, is I discovered a joy for shopping for clothes. I hated shopping because nothing fit me. And the only places I could go was like Walmart and Torrid. It was awful. But I was not mentally prepared to be able to walk into any store and buy an item of clothing. The first time I was able to do that is walk into a store and not go to the plus size section. I cried. I actually went to the Buckle for the very first time. March, around my birthday, a year after surgery. So March of 24. I think it was. Was it? I don't remember. Anywho, I went to the Buckle for the first time. Why? Because it was an experience. I had never been able to buy anything from the Buckle, and I wanted to, and I did, and I cried in that fitting room. I cried, not because I was ashamed, because I was proud and happy and shocked that I had to go out and get a smaller size because I picked a size that was too big. That's never happened. And then I went to Victoria's Secret because I had never been able to buy a bra from Victoria's Secret. And that's not something that's really that important to me now. It's just I had to knock some things off my childhood bucket list that I could not do because I was too big in high school to buy anything from these places. So I bought my first Victoria's Secret bra. I only wanted one, and I have it. And now I don't even have to wear a bra. Talk about a plot twist. I thought I had tiggle bitties my entire life. Turns out it was just fat. I just had fat. Now I got nothing. I lost them. I lost them when I lost the weight, but it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. So yeah, I bought my first Victoria's Secret bra. I bought my first pair of silver jeans. I think I bought some Miss Me's too, like just things that I could never buy before. And it was so refreshing and nice to be able to do that. So I've just completely transformed into the person that I've always wanted to be, but didn't have the confidence to be. And I couldn't be more proud of myself. My book, you should see my book collection, and you can, I actually just posted a video of it on all of my other socials, and I'll post a short on it here too. I'll post it here on my shorts so you can see it. I'm so freaking proud of it. Like, I have 2 big old bookshelves with the most beautiful books I've ever seen because I'm addicted to buying sprayed edge and pretty books. And I haven't read over half of them. I just keep buying books. I have a whole bag of books that I'm about to get rid of. I'm going to give away, sell, trade, whatever. But I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And I've taken pride in my apartment, and I'm trying to decorate more, even though we're moving this year. Like, I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying life. I'm going to Florida in April with my family for my mom's 65th birthday, and I'm not stressing about the plane ride. I'm not stressing about a swimsuit. I'm not stressing about any of it. I'm just excited. And that doesn't happen. That didn't happen for me before surgery, before losing weight, before getting healthy, mentally and physically. I had never let myself get excited about anything because I didn't know how my mental state was going to be when I got there because of my anxiety and my depression. I still have anxiety and depression, but it's managed. I take my medications. I do the things that I'm supposed to do. And I have my slip-ups. I have days and moments where my anxiety just takes over, but it's okay. It's a bad day, not a bad life when that happens. But I wake up every morning and try to wake up in a good mood and set the tone for my day. Because if you wake up and you're just in a piss poor mood and you're grumpy, your whole day's going to suck. I promise you that. I promise you that. You just got to change your mindset. Getting healthy doesn't mean getting healthy physically only. It means mentally too. And that's probably the most important part, because you're not going to get healthy physically if you can't get healthy mentally. You have to do it both. And it's not easy. And if you can do that, I applaud you to no end. To no end. Because you deserve that. So that's my episode today. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited to be doing this. I think I have finally found the days and times that I'm going to try and upload once a week. Sunday mornings, you will see my podcast come on. So we'll sit on Sunday mornings, drink our coffee, and just chit chat. So this is episode number 2. I still don't have a name for this podcast, you guys. So please leave your suggestions in the comments on what I can name this podcast, and I'll do it. I will make it an official name. I'll even get a little neon sign for the back here with the name on it once I have it. I'm going to make this official. So, but I want your feedback on that. And I want any and all feedback on the podcast itself. I'm here for the critiques. So thank you again for being here. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, and share this out with your friends who you think could get something from this, because I really am trying to make a difference. Love you guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.